Hey there, how are you doing this week? Hope you've had a good one. Glad you have come to join me this week talking about some action figures, but talking about some bigger action figures. After the success of the 5-inch scale figures from the early 90s, starting around 95, I believe, they started making a line of... I'm actually double checking to see if there's a date. 94. This is actually one of the first ones that came out. They decided to start making, similar to the Mego figures from the 70s, a line of figures that were actually a little bit bigger than those Mego ones. These were 9-inch scale figures. They did start with the Next Generation line, just like they had with the earlier line. So this was actually the very first one that came out, Captain Picard. And then the line kind of really exploded. I've only got a handful here today I'm going to show you just so you can get an idea for it. But they did eventually over the years, did the entire Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and the original series crews, as well as several aliens and guest characters and that kind of thing. Yeah, let's take a look at them. So first of all, Captain Picard. Now, the uniform, it has the problem that a lot of, anytime that you take and you shrink down cloth versions of stuff has, is that the scaling's not exactly right. I mean, the biggest thing you can tell is that the comm badge is significantly larger than it's supposed to be. But otherwise, it's actually pretty good. One thing that's really cool is on the feet, they actually have an elastic band that, if I can get that to show up there, yeah, there we go, that goes under the boot so that it kind of helps it stay in place. Here, I'll show you. And what's kind of funny is, like the Amigos, a lot of these, the boots were actually sculpted onto the leg. But yeah, the idea being is that it really helps the pants to stay in place on the figure as you move them around. But yeah, so that one, you had Captain Picard, you had Commander Cisco, came out a little later on. Again, this of course is the way he looked during the first 3 seasons of the show, or 2 seasons of the show, I should say, because it was during season 3 that he shaved his head and he grew the goatee in season 3, shaved his head in season 4, or at the very end of season 3, basically going into season 4. And again, it's that Type B uniform from the same era. The comm badge, of course, is significantly overscaled, but it still works. The sculpting on these is actually quite terrific. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt when you look at these figures who they are. I mean, it's very, very clear which characters they were supposed to be. This is from Star Trek Generations. They made Data. Now, the one kind of complaint I would have, it's not horrible, but his face almost, the color, I mean, the sculpt is great, but the color almost seems, well, it almost makes you think if you turn off the lights, he's going to glow. It's not that proper shade of gold that his skin was in the show. One thing you might be noticing is that, yes, every one of the characters had the exact same body, the exact same legs, hands, torsos. For the men, the women all had the exact same. It was just their heads were different and they were painted different colors. And that continued all around. Here I've got Jordy, also from Star Trek Generations. And what's kind of cool is that just like the figure, his visor is removable, but it's actually kind of difficult to remove. Yeah, actually it's got really nice big pegs on there. And you can see he's got the white eyes. Boy, that looked creepy on camera. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you can see it's got really nice big pegs that fit into those holes and hold it in place, and there's really not a chance of, once you've got that clipped in, there's not a chance that you're going to lose those. And then the last Starfleet officer I've got currently is Dr. Bashir, which, again, great sculpt. He's a little dirty. He's been in a different storage than the others, so he needs a good going over. He's also the only one I have him with an accessory. I've got the accessories for the rest of these in boxes somewhere, but he's got his medical pouch, his medical bag here. We'll set him over here to this side. I don't have, like I said, I don't have many of these, and I don't have many of them where I can get to them very easily, but I wanted to make sure and get a chance to show these to you. But these are all basically human figures, so I did want to get a chance to show you at least one alien, which from Star Trek Insurrection, I've got the Ruaffo figure. And again, the sculpt on this one is amazing. I mean, just look at the details on the face and on the little metal plate on his head, to the clasp on the side holding his skin back. Just fantastic. Again, the costume's a little but it's all right. The worst part is honestly these gloves. It's basically just a wad of cloth wrapped around his hand. I almost would have preferred if they'd just painted his hand black and left. But you know, that's honestly, I've never taken his shirt off, his outfit off. It'd be funny if it actually is painted black under there. And they still put that ridiculous cloth glove over it. But they did many, many more. I mean, like I said, they did tons more. They even redid the Next Generation crew wearing their civilian outfit. I mean, the Next Generation crew actually came in multiple. I mean, they had wearing the uniform from the series, from seasons 3 through 7. Then they had them in the gray-shouldered uniforms from First Contact. They had the Generations uniforms. They had the civilian outfits from Insurrection. They did dress uniforms for the Next Generation crew. Then they did make a Picard and Riker from the first season uniforms. They kind of went crazy with the Next Generation crew, but that's, guess what was selling at the time. Deep Space Nine didn't get quite as much love, nor did Voyager. They did make all the characters. They did make several of the supporting characters like Guinan and Garrick and Gul Dukat and many others. If you've got some of these, let me know. It'd be cool to talk about them. They're quite fun. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Thank you.